Alright, so what is up guys? In the previous session we learned about what is tools and how do we use certain functions or events of tools such as equipped and unequipped as well as activated. So in this session or this video we're going to be understanding about an object called as mouse. As you can see in my screen, I have this white cursor. Whenever you play a Roblox game you have this white cursor, or the game changes the icon for you. But irrespective of the icon, in order to get this cursor in your local script, we need to use the mouse object. Before I explain this code I've written here, I want to tell you guys that I've written three questions here. So what is the mouse object? How do we use the mouse object? And where do we use the mouse object? Okay. So before I explain what is going on here, I want to tell you guys that place the local script instead of starter player scripts, because the mouse object can be only taken using the local script. You cannot use a normal script or a server script to get the mouse object. Okay. So the mouse object, it's only for the specific local player or the client player or the specific player that is playing the game. In order to get that, we need to use the local script. And the local script, it can be either one of these places, starter character scripts or starter player scripts. Alright, so here I've written two variables called as player. And this is game get service players dot local player. And the second variable I've used is mouse and player dot get mouse. So whatever that white cursor you saw, it's stored in this variable called mouse, because this get mouse is a type of function which lets you take the mouse object from the player. Okay, so what we can do with this mouse is we have a lot of functions. I've written some of the functions in this local script, such as mouse button 1 up, mouse button 1 down, mouse button 2 up, and move. Alright, so here I've created a really small script consisting of the functions that I'll be explaining to this video. So it's mouse button 1 up, button 1 down, button 2 up, and move. Okay, so I've just connected and then function and then put the print statements: print mouse moved, mouse 2 up, mouse 1 down, and mouse 1 up. So if you were to go back to the game, and as you can see, every time I move my mouse, it says mouse moved into 191, which means that it's printing mouse moved 191 times. Okay, if I were to hold my left mouse button, it says mouse 1 down. Now if I release the mouse button, it says mouse 1 up. If I were to hold my right mouse button, release it, it says mouse 2 up. So the same thing, if you were to use it for like holding the mouse button, then it will be mouse 2 down. Alright, so the reason why we are using mouse button 1 down is because if you're creating a gun which shoots a lot of bullets, and the gun is automatic, which means that you can just hold the mouse button and it keeps firing, that's when we use the mouse button 1 down. Okay, but let's say if the gun is semi-automatic, or it's just like a pistol which you can't hold to shoot, you have to keep clicking it, then that's where when we use the mouse button 1 up. And then we'll be using any sort of loops here for the automatic guns and instead of the print statement and creating the gun. Alright, so that was it about the functions of the mouse. I'll be creating a really small script to actually show you guys how we can use the mouse object in our games. Alright, so as I was writing the script, you can see here that it says mouse.button1 up fires when the left mouse button is released. So if I were to go to mouse button 1 down, it says fires when the left mouse button is pressed. So there's a difference between pressed and released. So keep in mind about that. Alright, so here I've created a really small script here using the button 1 up function. And here you can see that I've created a new variable called as pod. And what this pod stores is that it stores Mouse.Target. There are certain properties of the mouse that you can use, such as target. So you just click on dot, you can get a lot of properties of the mouse, which is parent, name, hit. So the hit is the C frame of the mouse position in 3D space. So basically what hit gives is that it gives the position of the mouse with respect to the 3D space. Okay? Target is the whatever it's pointing to, the object in 3D space the mouse is pointing to. So here you can see a small example here. In this way you can actually understand certain properties or functions of the mouse. Dot changed, button 1 up. So I just explained this. Idle is another function where it just fires when the mouse is not moving, when it's like you can check when the player is AFK or not in the game. That's when we use idle. There's even view size Z, icon, button 1 down, target filter, and whatsoever. So here I've just used mouse.target, and what target does is that it gives whatever the mouse is pointing to. And if I were to run this game, as you can see in the second line, I've written pod.destroy. So whatever I click, whatever pod I click, it should get destroyed. So here I've created a really small kind of a brick wall, and you can see in my workspace that I've created a folder and it has a lot of pods. So these are the pods here. Select all of them. So let's say I'm I deleted the base plate by mistake, so I need to keep in mind about that. Alright, so if I have to click anywhere in this wall, it should disappear. Yeah, it's getting destroyed. The pods are getting destroyed. So by mistake, I clicked on the base plate, it got destroyed. The spawn location got destroyed. If I click on the base plate, it gets destroyed. Okay, so that's how we can use a mouse object in your games. Alright, so that was it about mouse object. And where do we use mouse object? We use it in the local script instead of the start player script, start character scripts. Alright, so I have a small homework for you guys, which is that I want you guys to create a gun, and if I hold my left mouse button, it should fire the bullets. So one hint or tip I can give you guys is that in order for the bullet to move front, let's say you have used instance.new or you create or cloned it from somewhere, and you want the bullet to go in a straight path. Okay, so in order to do that, you'll be using the assembly linear velocity. Okay, and this is the vector3 property, and just mess around with these values, x, y, z values, and you'll be able to shoot the bullet in a straight path. You can use ChatGPT if you guys want, but just use ChatGPT only for this line. The rest lines you should be able to make it by yourself, so you guys can learn. Alright, so that was it about the mouse object or mouse instance, as well as the functions that I've discussed in this video. So if you guys have any doubts, queries, or questions or whatsoever, kindly comment down, and till then, stay safe. Bye bye.